things are starting to get exciting again as a new type of disaster are hanging in the air. For there is one person that can make the proud, arrogant, and utterly confident Erina to lose her cool, but not in a comical tsundere way, but in an utterly terrifying and despair way. The Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 131. We are finally introduced to the personality of Rindou, the second seat, the cat girl. Yeah, let's call her Cat Eye Girl, because she has a lot of animal motives. She has cat-like eyes that are golden, she has fangs, and she's a big eater. Turns out she never had a part in this booth thing, because she preferred to eat it too, so she's a bit of a glutton, although she is sexy. However, there's someone who read that she talks like a tomboy, so what I want to know is, what does that mean? Either way, she comes over to Kuga-san to tease him a little bit, making me note that the relationships are a lot like siblings. For Soma may have won the fourth day, but according to him, the battle is not over yet, so they continue to challenge each other on the fifth day. But by then, it turns out that Soma is gonna fall behind for the sales, which makes him a bit frustrating, and he cannot get the Shokugeki now. But he is surprising. But he is Soma. He will learn from this. And my theory turned out to be correct. Turned out that the promise he did with Ishin was what I exactly thought it was. 5 days, being top 5 days, and I will get a Shokugeki with him. Because apparently Kuga and Soma said the exact same thing last time. Last year when Kuga was meeting the one, he said, let's skip the formalities and anybody who has Shokugeki with him. The ironic thing is that when he met the underclassmen, he almost said the same thing. He did start his conversation with, let's skip the formalities, but instead by saying, should have a Shokugeki, he has said, let's skip this. That Kuga never learned. Either way, Ishin turns out to be a great guy. He actually accepted the challenge. Or maybe he has accepted the challenge to crush Kuga, because he did. He literally crushed him. 5 judges, and Ishin won all 5. You know you're badass when you can defeat an arrogant cook like Kuga just like that. So the promise was indeed what I thought it was. Being the top 5 in this district for 5 days because Ishin did the last thing last year. And I guess that's another indication that he was the third seat. Then we'll take the challenge. But to the fact that Soma and the gang won over the 4th day means that is no longer gonna happen. Either way, Rindou takes an interest in Soma and says to him to follow her after they close the booth to Ishin's place, where they will eat and see how tasty the first seat's cooking is. And now to the main thing. What I said that makes Erina terrifying. The customers are about to flow in. Note one thing. Here's another thing I wouldn't say I dislike about Erina, but I don't think you've noted, but her cooking attire is almost exactly like Yoshiro. She really cannot let that go. She cannot let that special person in her heart go. And the fact that she is reserving one seat for Yoshiro, hoping that he will be there. Actually, that is not arrogant, that is heartwarming, but somehow when I read that the first time, I feel that is just arrogant. Do you honestly think he will just show up like that? You need to track him down. But that's not the main point. The customers are about to flow in, but without a reservation that's not going to happen. But before they flow in, another person goes in. Someone who Hisako gets utterly terrified for. And Erina herself gets pale in the body. He's a handsome, seemingly young man. Well, he's not a young man, but he looks like a handsome 30 or 40 years old with tie and very black eyes. Who is he? He is Erina's father. Note, my friends, Erina is terrified. She can barely say father. And Erina's father ties strengthen his tie like that. And the shadows almost shows that he has black eyes. And he has a confident smirk. It's been a while, Erina. You know that screams villainy. If that, when that happens. Granted, if it would be a reverse, it turns out it's a bumbling dad, then it would be funny. But given to the fact that Erina is terrified, and Hisako is too, well, technically Hisako is always terrified of the Naikiri family, but just that terrifying shows us that this is a new antagonist. Maybe even this will give a hint on why Erina is so stuck up. Maybe it will turn out that her spoiled upbringing wasn't so spoiled after all. Well, maybe it was spoiled, but she has high demands. She does, Erina. But the thing is, when you have an ability like hers, I have a very big feeling it's not just handed over to you like a silver platter. No. I think her father, or wherever it was extremely strict on her. So maybe a bit of her arrogance is not just because of her ability, but also because her family practically raised her like that. Or maybe even it's given to the fact that she had a flashback with Jochiro, the same chapter that her father appeared. Maybe there's a connection that Jochiro got fired for him or something like that. So that maybe Erina had a grudge against her father. Either way, next week's chapter will give us a hint. Is this an abusive dad? Or is this a bumbling dad? Is this a new antagonist? Or anything else? Or is Soma now going to taste Eshin's cooking? Either way, we are introduced again to the second seat. She's just like a cat, playful. But what do the people mean when she talks like a tomboy? What's that, a bukuku? Do give me your thoughts, if you have any.